dead. Media proudly presents...
So, as you can see, my space that is planned for recording has a few things going on at the moment. Hopefully by next video it won't, and it'll be usable. Hey everybody, Media here. Long time no see. Shut up. Alright, yeah, between procrastination, various life changes, and anxiety, I haven't done anything new in quite some time now. But here we are. New video, new topic, and I'm medicated now, so let's fucking do this. I've had this idea, this plan for a while now. Probably as long as I've been making videos, maybe longer. Because, as stated in that one, I think the Academy is awarding the wrong movies. Now, I long suspected there was a reason for it, but I never knew what it was, and I never looked into it. Then, a channel I follow, Bullets and Blockbusters, recently covered the topic pretty effectively and succinctly. That's this one. I'll link it below for you guys. So, what is this video? I've been beating around the bush a bit. Sorry about that. Now, my channel's been around for about a year now, and I've been making videos for 4? And in that much time, my wife and I decided to do something that it took the Academy 97 fucking years to make sure its members were doing. Watch every nominee. The whole plan here is that we're going to look at each one and say which one we think should win the award and which one we think the Academy's going to pick.
I just want you to know this was a huge pain in the ass.
Now, there are a few categories that I really don't watch most of the time because I just don't enjoy them. However, the international features crossed over pretty heavily into other categories this year, so I was going to be watching most of them anyway. My wife loves documentaries though, so I don't need to do them. She'll do the 2 documentary categories and I'll watch the rest. That seemed far more doable this year with only 50 films across each category. And also, just to do a shout out here, the kind people over at r/Oscars Death Race were really instrumental in helping me get hold of some of the films that I needed to watch for this. So, thank you everybody over there. You're all gold. So, I just watched Frankenstein, the Guillermo del Toro one from Netflix that's up for 9 awards. So let's try and cover all of them. It's up for Best Picture. Now, I'm going to grant I haven't watched any of the other 9 on that list. But it's good. It's good. I don't know if it's going to be Best Picture, because, there's not really a whole lot different you can do with Frankenstein, honestly. It was good. It was very good adaptation and everything. But it's not exactly like it's all that different from the Kenneth Branagh, you know? So, Best Picture, I don't know about that. Best Adapted Screenplay, again, I haven't watched any of the rest of them yet. But this one, it doesn't stray, again, too very far from the Kenneth Branagh from the 90s. For Best Supporting Actor, yes, I figure that it's actually got a good chance on that one, because Jacob Elordi, I think that's how you pronounce his name, he did a really good job playing the creature. He definitely did an admirable job, definitely one of the better versions of the creature that we've ever seen. Cinematography, it was all shot very well. Everything was framed well. It looked really nice. It looked like it was well shot. There was nothing out of focus, no overly quick cuts or anything like that, but I guess that would be editing. It's cinematography, it's fine. Again, it's up against a few other steep choices that we'll see on that one. Costume design, the costumes are good. The costumes are great. The costumes are basically the same as most other versions of Frankenstein. So, do with that what you will. I feel like I'm going to need to see something a little different from stuff to be able to qualify a costume design winner. Makeup and hairstyling. Now, Lordy's makeup and his hairstyling, they're good. They're they're probably one of the better presentations, one of the more unique presentations of the creature that we've seen in any version of Frankenstein to date. So, honestly, the it's got a good chance on makeup and hairstyling, because also like hairstyles and everything of the other characters in the movie are all good as well. I mean, when you got Christoph Waltz without his wig on and everything, that's it. It works. It's good. And like with that, it's beating out Ugly Stepsister, because with Ugly Stepsister we had one character's makeup and hairstyling involved. Original score. I mean, it's a good score. It is. Honestly, your best score is one that you like. You'd notice it if it was missing, but you don't really notice it when it's playing, because it's just supposed to be. It's supposed to invoke feelings for you. And it does that. It does exactly that. Production design, it's a Guillermo del Toro movie. Probably pronounced that wrong. It's a Guillermo del Toro movie. His movies always look good. Creature effects are great. His sets are good. I mean, they look like, in this case, it kind of looks more like a. It looks like it would be comfortable in the same space as the set from Labyrinth, if that makes sense. So, it is good production design. Everything looks appropriate for the time period they're trying to convey. Now, best sound, see that one, I'm really not seeing that one, because there was one moment for sure of really distracting ADR for me. Like, there's a moment where Victor is, can't remember who he's talking to, but he turns away for a second, and it's very obvious that his voice for that moment was dubbed in after. It doesn't fit. It's not like a Madam Web distraction or something, but it doesn't fit. So I think that covers all of the awards that it's up for. Then we'll have to see what any of the rest of them do in their respective categories. So I watched One Battle After Another, which is up for 13 awards. It's up for Best Picture, Best Director, Best Adapted Screenplay, Best Actor, Best Supporting Actor twice, Best Casting, Best Cinematography, Best Editing, Best Original Score, Best Production Design, Best Sound. That's everything it's up for. It's another one of those ones. This year we've got a lot that are hitting a lot. So, as for Best Picture, I'm going to say the same thing I always do. I haven't watched the rest yet. I've still got 3 contenders left to watch yet. As for Best Director, Paul Thomas Anderson's, he's hit and miss for me. I've seen only like 2 of his other movies, but I really enjoyed There Will Be Blood, but I hated Boogie Nights. I'm glad that this one leans a little more towards the former than the latter, but, So, he's good. He's a good option here. Best Adapted Screenplay, again, I didn't read the book, but it was good. It was an enjoyable movie, if a little overlong. Best Actor, Leonardo DiCaprio is up for this one, and he did great. He did a great job in this role. It's a little out of his normal wheelhouse, but it was a good one. He was enjoyable in this role. Best Supporting Actor, this one's up twice for that, for Benicio del Toro and Sean Penn. Now, to me, out of the 2, Sean Penn was the better performance. He was a much more interesting character than Del Toro. Benicio del Toro, I never really get much different from him, I mean, he's a fine actor, but I never really get much different from him. Best Casting, I couldn't really see anybody else in this. So, I guess the casting is good. I missed Best Supporting Actress for Tiana Taylor. Now, she's fine. She's fine, but thing is, her character disappears within the first, half hour. She's just fucking gone from the movie. And there's much better supporting actress performances in this movie. So, I don't think Tiana Taylor's it. Best Cinematography? Okay, so there was some really, really good shots that, I really liked towards the end when Willa is being chased by the Christmas adventurer dude, and you get a shot on the front of the car following the roads. And honestly, it's a great shot. They do it 3 times, but it's a great shot. I don't think it would work without the cameras we've got today, because, previously it would just be, road effect. But now it's, you could see yourself on that road. For film editing, again, I think I've said this before. The better the editing, the less you notice, right? So, I mean, it makes sense. There's nothing that's, Transformers-y or like a Marvel fight. As much as I love the Marvel movies, I do have to agree that the fights are cut to shit. Best original score. It was good. A little overly loud in a couple of places, but it was good. Best production design. All of the sets, they make sense. Everything about the movie, it looks right. It makes sense. The production design, there's nothing wrong with it. It looks good. Best sound, like I said a second ago, the score is overly loud at points. I mean, there's also there's gunfire, there's explosions, all of it sounds like it really should, and it all lines up like it really should. There's no weird ADR shit. The score is overly loud, though, in a couple of places. So, don't know about that one. Anyway, overall, decent movie. So, I mean, right now, I guess for the ones I've seen, Paul Thomas Anderson's 2 for 3. I watched Sentimental Value. It's up for 9. It's up for Best Picture, Best Director, Best Original Screenplay, Best Supporting Actor, Best Actress, Best Supporting Actress twice, Best Editing, Best International Feature. That's it. Those are the ones that it's up for. As far as Best Picture, I'm going to say what I always say. I've still got others to watch. I've still got 2 more. Nearly done, guys. Nearly done. As far as Best Director, I don't know a lot of Joachim Trier's work. But this was a good one. It's slow. Very slow. Definitely slow burn type of thing. And if you're not into heavy familial drama movies, this isn't going to be for you. As for Best Original Screenplay, like I said, if you're not into heavy familial drama movies, this isn't going to be for you. If you have trouble in your family life, this could be hard. As for Best Supporting Actor, Stellan Skarsgård. I always like Stellan Skarsgård. I always think he's a good actor. But, he did really well here. You could see everything in his performance that you needed to see. Everything was there on display that was supposed to be there for that character. For Best Actress, Renate Reinsve. She was good as the daughter that didn't. She's angry with her father. She doesn't want to support his work. She doesn't, because he never supports her. She doesn't want to actually make it possible for his work to happen. She's supposed to be his lead actress, but she turns him down flat. For Best Supporting Actress, we've got 2 nominees here in Elle Fanning and Inga Ipsdotter Lilios. Both of them do a great job. Elle Fanning as the actress who's figuring out that she's not his first choice, and that he's trying to mold her into his first choice, but it's just not going to happen. She's not right for the role. He's compromising way too much on the end result. And Inga Ibsdottir Lilios does a good job as the daughter who's trying to hold it all together, trying to play peacemaker. She's trying to be supportive of him to an extent, but understanding of her sister as well, until finally she blows up and tells him exactly how it is, that he was 100% there for her when she was in one of his movies, when she was his actress, but as soon as cameras stopped rolling, she didn't exist anymore. As for best film editing, there were some really good moments. There's a shot. It's very artsy fartsy, but there's a shot that's with them in shadow, and you've got the light moving around Stellan Skarsgård's head, but as it moves around, it transitions into Renate Reinsve, and then into Inga Ibsdottir Lilios, and so on and so forth. It continues around and around for a minute or so there. Then on top of that, you also have there's a shot at the end that he had described earlier in the film for what he wanted in his film, of doing a one-shot ending for it. And we see the entire one shot, which one-shots are never, you don't see it, because it's not easy. It's one of the hardest things you can, because there's so many things that can go wrong. For Best International Feature, it was very good. I've still got one more to watch in that category, but it's got some stiff competition there. So overall, it's a good one, worth some of the attention it's getting. But we'll see how it compares to everything else, like with any other ones I've talked about. First of all, let's do a quick shout out to thegoldknight.com, because they made a ballot for the awards that otherwise it would be very difficult for me to keep track of what's up for what. And in a movie, like for example, the movie that I watched tonight is Sinners. Sinners. There are 24 possible awards in the Oscars. There are 17 that it is eligible to be up for. It's up for 16 of those 17. How the hell I would have kept track of that, I have no idea. But let's get through this. So for Best Visual Effects, it's up against Avatar, Fire and Ash, F1, Jurassic World Rebirth, and The Lost Bus. Now, I have to rewatch Avatar, and I haven't watched the other three. But the effects on this, they were good. They were good effects. Nothing looked iffy. Blood effects were a little bit on the campier side, more, 1980s than they were current. But, acceptable, especially for the amount of blood that was being used. It's not exactly like you can use that amount and not have some kind of a situation. I mean, I watched Iron Lung last week, and they had some situations with that. Best sound. All of the sound mixing made sense. There was no bad ADR, nothing like that. It all seems to, it all flows properly. All of the sounds, nothing took me out of it with sound. So, it's good there. Best production design. I absolutely 100% bought into that town. That entire little area. All of it was very believable. The whole thing, everything looked legitimate. Like it belonged there and belonged in that time. For Best Original Song, the song is I Lied to You. And it's a good song. It's a good showcase of the movie, and definitely it gives some chances to a few of the other awards, which we'll get to, because the half the premise of the movie is that the right musician and the right song can transcend time, basically, as well as drawing in the darkness. But with it, with it transcending time, that whole sequence has a bunch of people from various different time periods showing up, all future, past, everything. there's not a whole lot to the song itself. There are other songs in the movie that are good, but the problem is that half of them aren't original, so I see why they were pushing for that one for the original song. I don't know if it's the best. I've still got 3 others to watch on that one. We'll see how that one is. For best original score, absolutely. I love the score on this one. Everything, it worked for the time period they were doing. And it was kind of a Western, kind of bluesy Western thing, which I dig it. It worked. It worked for that. It worked for that movie. Best makeup and hairstyling, definitely it's up there. I would say it definitely beats out Ugly Stepsister for that one, and it might beat out Frankenstein. There was a few gnarly moments. Actually, speaking of gnarly moments, there's one near the end that definitely should fit into the visual effects category. I won't spoil that one for you if you haven't seen it. But it's how one of the lead villains is taken down. Best film editing. Okay, so half of this movie, more than half of this movie, involves Michael B. Jordan playing twin brothers. And, it'd be simple enough trick to have the brothers both be on screen. People have been doing it forever. It's, just split screen compositing and all of that sort of thing. I could do it. But here's the trick. They passed stuff to each other. And I'm not talking, have one with a stand-in with his back to him and everything. They passed stuff to each other. Yeah, there probably was a stand-in involved there to be able to, but the editing still was impressive on that one. Plus, also, the movie regularly shifts aspect ratios between full screen and widescreen, which, not 100% sure on the reasoning for that, but it didn't distract. At least not too often, at least not till we were aware of it. Next one is best costume design. So the costumes, it's period piece stuff, but period piece, normally you only have to deal with one time period. So I gotta give credit to Ruth E. Carter for doing multiple time periods. Even in just one musical sequence, there's got to be at least 8 or 9 different time periods represented from at least 2 different cultures. So the costume design does work here. There's also a later scene that takes place 60 years after most of the movie. Costume design is different for that too. So I do have to give her some credit on the costume design for this movie. Cinematography. There's one very notable tracking shot near the beginning of the movie that follows Lily Chow out the front door of her store, across the street to another place to get her mom, Grace, and Lily takes over the counter there, and Grace goes back to the store, and the tracking shot follows Lily all the way there and then follows Grace all the way back. It's one uninterrupted shot, and it's always impressive when somebody manages to pull something like that off. So cinematography, everything's shot the way it really should be. None of it stands out as being awkward, Casting, for best casting, Michael B. Jordan does a great job in both Smoke and Stack, or Elijah and Elias. All of everybody does a great job. I can't really picture anybody else taking any of these roles. Best Supporting Actress, Wunmi Mosaku. I believe that was Annie. Wunmi Mosaku does wonderfully in this. She kind of becomes the heart of the movie. And it's she does great. She keeps Smoke in line, and she's definitely good. I think she's definitely better than Amy Madigan. She's higher on my list right now for the Best Supporting Actress. Best Supporting Actor, we've got Delroy Lindo. He did good as Delta Slim. Delta Slim was an interesting and entertaining kind of character. Was he better than Jacob Elordi's creature from Frankenstein? I don't know. I don't think so. I think Elordi did better on that one. I think he's my current leader for supporting actor. Best actor, Michael B. Jordan. His Smoke and Stack, Elijah and Elias, they are distinct characters. They are distinct. There is no, and neither of them's like any of the other character he's really played. They're nothing like Adonis Creed. They're nothing like Killmonger. They're Michael B. Jordan did great with this movie. Best original screenplay. Okay. It's mostly original. In, the way it's set and everything like that. But here's a bit of a spoiler for you. When you get towards the end of the movie, if you're going into this not knowing it's a vampire movie, by the way, it's a vampire movie. When you get towards the end of it and it turns into the vampire movie, it's a vampire movie in a big bar. It's From Dusk Till Dawn. You even have two brothers, one of them dies. Sorry, again, spoilers. It's From Dusk Till Dawn. At least when it gets to that point. Best director, Ryan Coogler he's wonderful. I have yet to see anything of his that I didn't enjoy. Ryan Coogler is great, and he did great here, but I've got 4 other nominees to watch yet. For Best Picture, I don't know. Right now, so far, I've watched 2 of the nominees for Best Picture. I've watched Frankenstein and I've watched Sinners. Frankenstein wasn't original enough. It's basically the same story. Sinners is more original and definitely a good story. It had my wife and I's attention. But I don't know. We'll have to see. I've got 8 more nominees to watch in that category. So yeah.
These are my picks for who should and will win for Best Supporting Actor. So I think Sean Penn absolutely should win for One Battle After Another. One Battle After Another is up twice on this award for him and for Benicio del Toro. But I don't think Benicio really did that much in that one. He's fine. He's Benicio del Toro. But I don't think he was the best in that situation. And I really do think that Sean Penn did better than Jacob Elordi or Delroy Lindo or Stellan Skarsgård. Skarsgård was good in Sentimental Value. Elordi was good in Frankenstein. Lindo was good in Sinners. Sean Penn was great. So that's my choice. But I think, and honestly, actually, I really don't see the Academy straying from that decision either. Because out of all of the actors in this category, Penn was the best. Penn was great in that role. I don't see another option here.
So I rewatched Avatar Fire and Ash. Saw it in theaters when it came out. And it's up for Best Visual Effects and Best Costume Design. Which, the effects are the same as they've been for this series since 2009. It looks the same as it did in 2009. And then again in 2022. The costumes are legitimately the same that they were in 2022. These are token awards. That's what this is. These are token awards to make sure people don't get butthurt about James Cameron being snubbed again. Because, I don't know if you remember, but I remember the outrage when he got snubbed, but Catherine Bigelow was nominated for Hurt Locker. This is to avoid a repeat. These are token awards, and they didn't do anything different. I'd be honestly surprised if it won either. Just watched Hamnet. It's up for 8 awards, I think, including Best Picture, Best Director, Best Adapted Screenplay, Best Actress, Best Casting, Best Costume Design, and Best Production Design. So, let's go through those one by one. As far as Best Picture, I still have 4 more left, so we're not going to judge on that yet. As far as Best Director, I've cut 3 others in that category. However, for both of those, I think we can say that it's a good movie. It is a very good movie. As far as Best Director, I know Chloe Zhao for one other thing, and this is definitely better than that because I've slept through Eternals twice. As far as Best Adapted Screenplay, again, I haven't read the book. As far as Best Actress, Jessie Buckley did wonderfully here. She did great with the performance. She had a lot to work with, and she hit it well. As far as Best Casting, honestly, I think I can't see really... I mean, I know lots of people have played Shakespeare, but Paul Mescal does well with the role here. Jessie Buckley, again, did really well. All of the children were good. The only standout, mostly putting this one in for Nancy Serena. Joe Alwyn gave about the performance of a tube sock.
Joe Alwyn!
As for costume design, it's like all the costumes, they looked good. And when Shakespeare played Hamlet's father in the performance of Hamlet at the end, the ghost thereof, the makeup would have been time appropriate at the time. So, attention to detail, I guess that would maybe fall more under makeup and hairstyling, but costume was kind of caked with paint too. So I'm rolling it in here. As far as Best Production Design, everything looked appropriate for what I know of the time. So it was good. It was good production design to me. So, I mean, I always say this, but we're going to see how it does against its competitors in all these different categories, but it's good. Just watched Marty Supreme. It's up for 9 awards, including Best Picture, Best Director, Best Original Screenplay, Best Actor, Best Casting, Best Cinematography, Best Costume Design, Best Film Editing, and Best Production Design. Now, as for the Best Picture, say it with me here, I haven't watched them all yet, and I'm not sure if it's gonna be that one. For Best Director, I've heard of Josh Safdie, but I don't know his work real well. This movie, it was an interesting enough story about a dude trying to make it big, but this part's going to probably lean a little bit into the Best Actor part. Timothy Chalamet's character was really, really, really slimy, and I didn't like him. For Best Original Screenplay, it was okay. I think there was better. The Best Actor, now we're back on talking about Chalamet here. Timothy Chalamet, I'll grant him this time he was, playing against his usual type. Most of the time he plays kind of a lot the same, at least in my opinion. So this time he was playing a little bit different, but I didn't like the character. It's kind of like when I watched Raging Bull. I hated De Niro's character. Just, that's how it is. So, I don't know about Best Actor there, unless I'm supposed to hate him. As for Best Casting, a lot of these, a lot of the characters here, can't really see anybody else doing them, but a couple of the ones that are here, I kind of feel like they were chosen because of, who they are. Like, Chalamet was chosen because he's Timothy Chalamet. Kevin O'Leary was chosen because he's a businessman. Just personal opinion, I don't think Kevin O'Leary is much of an actor, really. Cinematography, there's a few good shots, but nothing really
memorable. I mean, it was shot well enough, but nothing really stood out. Costume design, yeah, it's period-appropriate costumes. I mean, we're talking 1952. People looked like they were in 1952. Film editing, yeah, it was fine. The editing was fine. I think I said before, your editing is best when you don't see it. Best production design, yeah, it looked like 1952. Production design was good. I don't have a whole lot to say about this movie because I didn't like it.
This is who I think should and will win for Best Costume Design. So, I think Malgosia Tarzanska, I'm sorry if I've mispronounced that one, I haven't looked it up ahead of time. I think Malgosia Tarzanska will win, or should win, for costume design for Hamnet. I think the costumes were very well done in Hamnet, and period appropriate. I mean, just look at William Shakespeare playing Hamlet's father's ghost during the play scene. It's what it would have been for the time. He's got like the powdery paint substance all over him to make him look white. That's how it would have been done. I think that's well done. That could also fall into the makeup and hairstyling. Absolutely, I get it. But like they did it to his clothes too. It's like his clothes had been dipped in paint. It was that to me should and honestly will, I think, be the costume design winner. Because I think the Academy's going to see that for what it is. And honestly, at least one of the entries on here, on the best costume design, Avatar. I'm sorry, what costume design? Half of the movie is fucking computer generated, if not more. Was there a lot of design that went into Spider's loincloth?
Alright, so I just watched Begonia, except for 4 of them, except for Best Picture, Best Adapted Screenplay, Best Original Score, and Best Actress for Emma Stone. Now, as for Emma Stone, I think she's great. She's done a good job in everything I've ever seen her in. As for Best Picture, I've still got others to watch, but it's interesting. It's interesting. I think it would have been better if the ending was left more ambiguous. Just personally, because really, on top of that, it's like Emma Stone's performance was. You could easily, if they'd left it ambiguous, there could have been debate for like a long time about whether she was or was not Andromedan. The ending made it, they kind of made it really obvious, but yeah. As for how well it's adapted, I've never read the book, so can't say whether it was or was not well adapted. That said, for the fact that it's at least done something different from any previous version, I mean, this hasn't had a previous version, so I would still, for the adapted screenplay, I would put it above Frankenstein. Then, for best score, right now, I don't think so. I don't know, I haven't seen all of the options for best original score, but the score was really bombastic here, and absolutely, I mean, it's like full orchestral, we're talking practically Tchaikovsky, but it's too bombastic for the material, if that makes sense. Just, it would have been better a bit more understated, just in my opinion. Just my opinion. So, I mean, we'll see how it stands on all 4 of those awards. I think she's got a good chance for Best Actress. We'll see on Best Picture. I've still got a few entries left to watch on that. Adapted screenplay, I've watched 2 so far, so we'll see if it's... Right now it's the front runner, but there's 3 others. And then for score, I don't think so. I just don't think so.
This is who I think should and will win for Best Original Score. And I think, again, this is going to be one where the Academy is not going to have a different opinion from me. I think that winner is Ludwig Göransson for Sinners. Sinners' score, to me, is the standout. Most of the rest of them on this list, I kind of didn't notice. I'm pretty sure I made commentary about the Sinners' score. How it was. It was, like, it seemed time appropriate for the movie and everything. I think the Sinners' score is the best score out of the options here. Nothing else here really was notable.
I watched Kokuho. It's up for best makeup and hairstyling. And by the very nature of the movie, the makeup and hairstyling needs to be. It needs to be. I mean, it's a movie about traditional kabuki acting in Japan. And kabuki uses very, very intricate makeup. Yes, it's a base white, but it's very, very... It is intricately done. So the makeup has to be... It has to be there. And it was really, like, the makeup was really well done. With one exception. Kiko's old man look at the end of the movie wasn't it. But with that exception, the makeup and hairstyling was what it really needed to be for this work. So I just watched The Smashing Machine. It's up for the Hair and Makeup Award. And honestly, it's almost distracting how somebody who looks almost nothing like Dwayne Johnson by the end of the makeup process, and that, like the makeup and hair there, has Dwayne Johnson's voice coming out of him. But like, the makeup was transformative. It was great. Johnson put in a hell of a performance as well, so blunt, but she always does. But we got to focus on the hair and makeup here, and like, he didn't like the prosthetic work on his face changed the shape of his fucking head. He doesn't look like Dwayne Johnson, so that's a real credit for the hair and makeup here. I mean, you also had the usual the boxing makeup or the fighting makeup, like when somebody gets hurt, you get the blood and everything, but that's really it's basic. That happens in every wrestling, fighting, boxing, whatever movie. So that is not remarkable because it's not doing anything different. But yeah, the making Dwayne Johnson look like Mark Kerr, that was impressive. So I just watched The Ugly Stepsister. Don't normally watch a lot of foreign flicks, but this one was up for the makeup and hairstyle award, which, I mean, many of them are just kind of, the basic period piece makeup and hairstyle and whatever, except for Elvira, the titular ugly stepsister. The body horror that she goes through. I think the movie's probably more accurate to the original grim fairy tale of Cinderella, but that movie was just upsetting and very much covers the whole. It covers the male gaze. It covers uh, unrealistic beauty standards, and the body horror makeup was something else. If you ever feel the urge to watch a movie where somebody has rhinoplasty done with a chisel, this one's for you. You ever want to watch a movie where one girl pulls a 12-foot tapeworm out of her sister? This movie's for you. Like I said, for hair and makeup, it's there's Elvira is well done, but it's just her. The rest is kind of fairly bog standard. So I don't know. We'll see what the rest of the categories got.
This is who I think should and will win for best makeup and hairstyling. So I think the one that should win for best makeup and hairstyling, this one was a tough choice for me. It kind of came down to the Smashing Machine or the Ugly Stepsister. Because for the Smashing Machine, Dwayne Johnson disappeared there. The makeup was incredible. He looked like Mark Kerr. It was really well done. But the Ugly Stepsister was horrifying. The Ugly Stepsister's makeup is what deserves this award to me. I think it's the one that should get it. But I think the Academy's going to pick Sinners. Now, don't get me wrong. The makeup in Sinners is good. I think it's well done. I think it's From Dusk Till Dawn. I think the makeup's been done. Maybe not as good, but I think it's been done. So, for me, it's The Ugly Stepsister, but at the same point, I won't necessarily be disappointed if the Academy picks Sinners.
Hey, I just watched A Friend of Dorothy, and yes, it does lean into the meaning of that term. It's one of the live action shorts for Oscar nominations, and it's really it's a kind of a heartwarming thing about friendship and coming from anywhere, and it's also about prejudice and finding identity and all that kind of thing. And specifically, it's more about embracing identity as a gay person. It does lean a little bit into some stereotypes that maybe aren't true anymore. At one point, they probably were, but they kind of maybe aren't now, at least not entirely. And it's a good movie. I don't know that it's going to be the best live action short, but we'll see what else is up in the category. I've still got 2 more to watch, So yeah, for now that it was good. I enjoyed it. Hey, I just watched Butcher's Stain. It's a good one. It's the last of my live-action shorts. It's about a guy who's dealing with various forms of adversity. It's a single dad trying to get visitation with his kid. He's also dealing with trying to survive on a minimum wage job, and at the job he's being accused of tearing down some posters in the staff room, and there's no basis for the accusation, no proof, anything like that, but people are still convinced that it's him who did it. Just because somebody said, oh, I saw him do it.
there's there's political reasons in there too. But I'm I'm apolitical in general, and I don't know enough about the conflict to be offering any form of opinion on that here. Um, so I'm not going to. I'm staying out of that just because I am not informed. So I am not going to have an opinion there. But this one is a good movie, and check it out. Hey, so I just watched Jane Austen's period drama, one of the live-action short nominees for this year, and it's funny. It's really funny, and it is it's well done. It looks the part. It is a very well done movie. It is, and it's funny, and it makes a point, and I I appreciate this one. I think it's well made. I think it looks good. I think it tells a great story. I'm I'll be interested to see what any of the rest of the live action shorts are like. So I just watched The Singers. It's another entry in the live action shorts category. 18 minutes long. Kind of just it seems like it's just going to be kind of a basic thing, but it's it takes place entirely in a bar. You got a group of guys, just they're all wrapped up in their own shit. They don't they're not really much paying attention to anybody else there, except the one guy is going along and he's asking everybody to buy him a drink. He's got no money. Then the bartender tells him that if he can outsing this old dude with an oxygen tank down the end of the bar, then he'll buy him a six-pack. So, and then the bartender goes down. He talks to the guy with the oxygen tank, and he's not into it at first. But then they end up into an impromptu, unexpected singing contest. See who, and the winner would get a $100 bill and a free drink. And really, it's not really about that. Because by the end of it, there is no winner really given. It's just camaraderie. Everybody coming together. And I think that's kind of nice, Everybody just not thinking about their own shit anymore. Just together. Yeah. So I just watched two people exchanging saliva, and there's a sentence that, definitely sounds like it means something else. It's one of the nominated shorts, one of the live action ones for this year. Literally, it's called Two People Exchanging Saliva. Probably has a different title I can't pronounce because it is French. But yeah, it was an intriguing concept, all in black and white. And you don't actually see the titular event in the entirety of the movie. It's basically there's a society it's hard to explain because the the currency that they exchange is that the person buying the items gets slapped in the face, and everybody maintains the absolute worst breath they possibly can have, because that way they can avoid kissing, because kissing is this dirty thing that nobody does. Nobody even talks about it. It's obscene. So, interesting concept. Probably an allegory I'm not getting, but it is 10 to 3 in the morning. Yeah. Don't know if it's best live action short, but we'll see at the end. Here's who I think should and will win for best live action short. I think personally the best live action short out of the batch was The Singers. I showed two of the live action shorts to Nancerina. Both of them were favorites for me. So this one was actually kind of a tough choice to get down to, is like which was the better one, Jane Austen's period drama or The Singers. Both of them are great for different reasons, and I loved both of them. But The Singers is 100% to me the best live action short. It tells everything that it needs to in such a short time. It says all the things without saying all the things.
It shows and doesn't tell.
Exactly. It shows and doesn't tell. It says all the things without saying all the things. So for me, the best live action short is The Singers. But Butcher's Stain is about the whole Israel-Palestine thing, which, as Nancerina said in the documentary ones, which, as I've said in my review for it here, I am not educated on. I don't know about this. Butcher's Stain is a good short. Absolutely it is. But I don't think that the Academy's going to choose it for the right reasons. That said, I do think the Academy's going to choose it.
Hey everybody, Media here. So I just watched Butterfly, another entry in the animated shorts nominees. So it was a very, very good story. Well, it's a sad story, but it's well told. And a lot packed into a 15-minute story. As far as the animation goes, it's what I said about the story segments of The Girl Who Cried Pearls, where it looks like a painting. Butterfly kind of literally is a painting, which is a very interesting way of presenting it. It's a novel medium, definitely an original animation style, but I would say I'm glad it's a short, because I honestly do not think that I could watch a feature animated like that. It would be straining. That would be my issue with it. Hey guys, Media here. So I just watched Forever Green, another entry in the animated shorts category for Oscar nominees. And it's a unique 3D animation style, but it's 3D animation. It's still it looks a little blockier for the texture and things like that, and it tells a really nice story, one that you could probably read a couple of different ways. That said, based on the animation and the story, I think there are stronger entries this year. Nothing against it. It is still a very, very nice movie. Really heartfelt and a good story. But I think there's better. Hey guys, Dead Media here. So I just watched Retirement Plan, one of the nominees on the animated shorts list. And honestly, in 7 minutes, it conveys a poignant story. It's well done. I kind of like the animation style. It's not going to be for everybody, but it's heartfelt, funny at points, and yeah, it's a good contender. I do like that one. Again, really not bad for 7 minutes. Hey everybody, Media here. So first of all, I'm kind of on a run tonight. This is my third one to watch tonight. But I just finished The Girl Who Cried Pearls. And it was an interesting animation. It was a really good story, actually. One where you're honestly, it's there's some doubt about how that one actually really ends for the 17-minute story that it told. Is it was it true? Was it? There could definitely be some debate on that one. It's a Anyways, so the animation style was rather unique. The the present, like it's telling a story of the past. The present day portion being in a style that, like, it's 3D animated or even maybe claymated. Probably not, because it doesn't have like that motion look to it. But it looks like like a claymation version of those unsettling puppet shows. You know, those unsettling TV puppet shows that we used to see as kids, like or even before I was a kid. Like, for example, or before I was around, like Thunderbirds and Captain Scarlet and things like that. You know, the kind of really unsettling puppet stuff, like Team America, World Police, that style of thing, but like it's made out of clay. Where the past portions also are made out of clay, but mouths don't move and anything like that. It looks like a painting more than anything. It's really actually a very good looking movie. Um, at this point, that's kind of my front runner for the animated shorts, but I've only watched two. Hey, so I just watched The Three Sisters, the last of my animated short films. And the animation style is really cute. I do like it. It looks really, really nice. And the story is a good one. It's corruption, um, and sisterhood and all that kind of thing. It is a very good movie. I did really enjoy it. I thought it was nice. I do not think, though, that it is animated feature of the year. I just don't. That's It doesn't do enough. It doesn't do enough different with the animation, because I've seen that style before, and it also doesn't tell a story that's going to get the interest the way some of the other stories do. That's all I'm saying. It's good, and it was a pain in the ass to get, but it's not best animated short.
Here are my choices for who I think should and will win for Best Animated Short. For me, the Best Animated Short was The Girl Who Cried Pearls. It's the best story. The animation is interesting. They use two different types for the two different time periods, and it looks good. It works well. I think that it should be the winner. I think it's the best option. That said, the Academy's going to pick Butterfly. Almost a guarantee. For me personally, Butterfly is difficult. It's a difficult movie to look at. The appearance of it, while unique and well done, would be something that I couldn't watch any longer than that movie is, because it's hard to look at. But the story, that's where the Academy is going to pick it. We're talking about a story about an African American Jew swimming for France in the Olympics during World War II. So you've got an African American Jew in World War II, and you're going to tell me that the Academy's not going to pick this movie?
I just watched Train Dreams, which is up for Best Picture, Best Adapted Screenplay, Best Cinematography, and Best Original Song. As far as Best Picture, I don't think so. I mean, it's decent enough, but, like, there's narrative threads that go nowhere. Which, I realize, like, not everything's got to be tied up in a nice, perfect little fucking knot, but just, these ones seemed really important, because they're brought up more than once. So, it doesn't go anywhere. For the adaptation, I haven't read the original novella, which, by the way, they squeezed a 103-minute movie out of a novella. I suppose it depends on how long the novella is, but my understanding is 100 pages is usually equivalent to about an hour on screen. And I don't know what qualifies as a novella, if I'm honest. As for the cinematography, it's the shots are good. The shots are good. There's some very well framed shots. I definitely appreciated one from near the beginning of the movie where the camera must have been mounted on a felled tree, because you're with the tree as it goes down. Which it's a cool shot. It really is. I like that. As for best original song, honestly, the song's a weird one. I don't think it's best original. I think it's okay. I wouldn't probably go out of my way to listen to it. Here's the funny bit. So I was thinking, it's like I'm listening to this song, going, man, this is a weird ass song, and I'm thinking of musicians that it's similar in style to, like acts that it's similar to. I'm thinking it's like V&V Nation, Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds, Tom Waits, something like that. Get to the end of the credits and the fucking song is by Nick Cave. Like, of course the song is by Nick Cave. Anyways, I don't know that it's really got a whole lot of chance of winning much of any of it. Cinematography is probably his best bet. I don't think it's the best picture. I don't think it's the best adapted screenplay. And I really don't think it's the best original song.
Now, this is who I think should and who will win for best adapted screenplay. Keeping in mind, I haven't read basically any of these except Frankenstein. It's the only one I've read. So, the one that I think should win on this one is Begonia, because to me, it's the better movie out of the batch. Again, this is not having read any of the original material. So, but I think Begonia is the best option in the list. But who do I think will? I think it's going to be one battle after another. This movie's up for a lot of awards this year. Obviously, the Academy likes it. And really, I mean, the other one that's up for the most in this is Frankenstein, which, decent adaptation, but at the same point, it's been done. Frankenstein's been done to death. And this one doesn't actually, honestly, as much as I love Del Toro, this one doesn't do very much different from the 90s version by Kenneth Branagh.
Hey, so I just watched Blue Moon. It's up for 2 this year, Best Original Screenplay and Best Actor for Ethan Hawke. And part of Ethan Hawke's part of Ethan Hawke's thing here is, like, I mean, camera angles and a lot of makeup and everything. Camera angles have him like 6 inches shorter than he actually is. And the makeup has him looking more like a young John Malkovich than he does Ethan Hawke. But that's not all it is. I mean, his performance here is transformative. He comes off exactly like he's supposed to. He's kind of an unreliable, irritable old drunk who's looking for love in all the wrong places. As for the best original screenplay, it was a good movie. It was really enjoyable. I liked it. It had my attention the whole time, which, you know, these days can be something to say. overall, I don't know. We'll see what it's running up against for either category, but, Ethan Hawke did a really good job here. He disappeared into the role, and there's nothing wrong with the screenplay. I just watched It Was Just an Accident, and it's up for Best Original Screenplay, and it's a good one. It's you've got a story that is like, you've got backstory that's just meted out here and there over the course of the movie, just enough to kind of give you an idea what happened in the past, what's going on, and they're trying to figure out if this if the man that the one guy is captured is this torturous agent that they all dealt with in prison years earlier. And it all started because the guy has an artificial limb that squeaks. And a good chunk of them don't even know what the guy looks like. So it's it's a revenge story, but where they're trying to get vengeance on somebody they don't even know for sure. So yeah, it's a good original story. I don't know if it's going to be the best. I mean, I do still have a couple more to watch for that category, but we'll see. It's a possible option.
This is my choices for who should and who will win for Best Original Screenplay. I think for who should win is Blue Moon. I thought Blue Moon was a great movie. That one had my attention the whole time. I thought it was a great movie, and it was mostly shot in one location. It was really well done, and I liked all the characters. I liked everything. I really enjoyed that movie. But who do I think should win? I think the one that should win is going to be It Was Just an Accident. Mostly because of performative inclusion in this case. Let's call it that. Because It Was Just an Accident is the only one in the original screenplays here that is not American made. This one's made in France, but takes place in Iran. So yeah, I think more for anything. Again, nothing against the movie. I did like It Was Just an Accident, but I don't think it was the best original screenplay. I just think that's what the Academy's going to pick.
So I rewatched Weapons. I'd already watched it earlier this year because it had been, or I guess last year now, it had gotten a lot of attention, so I watched it because it was kind of interesting looking to me, and I wanted to know how it was. But now it's up for Best Supporting Actress for Amy Madigan for playing the character Gladys, who is a quietly unnerving character, but seems like comes off altogether innocent. And Madigan does it really well, actually. So I think she's a contender for the supporting actress one. She barely had any screen time, really, but a couple of the jump scares were just her, and her role in this is, I mean, it's darkly comic at the end. It just is. But her role is pivotal, and she does a good job of it. So, be interesting to see the other nominees.
Now, these are my picks for who should and who will win for Best Supporting Actress. I think for who should win is Inga Ibsdottir Lilios from Sentimental Value. Sentimental Value was up twice for Best Supporting Actress. It was her and Elle Fanning. But Inga did better than Elle Fanning did. Elle Fanning was good, but Elle Fanning was playing an American actress, which she is. I grant there's going to be a certain amount of performance there anyway. But these are versus like Amy Madigan was just the right amount of creepy in weapons, she's a good option. Unmi Mosaku was great in Sinners. She was a wonderful, believable character. I actually Tiana Taylor's barely in One Battle After Another and didn't really leave that much of an impression on me. So honestly, I don't even know really. I don't want to say I don't know why she's on the list, but I feel like there were better supporting actress options this year. Who do I think will win for Best Supporting Actress? Honestly, after everything I just said, I still think the Academy's going to pick Tiana Taylor for the supporting actress. Partly because of everything the movie represents, and there's nothing like I don't disagree with the decision. I think that the movie represents it makes important points. Editing media here. Just wanted to step in really quick. The point that I was trying to make, kind of unsuccessfully, with talking about One Battle After Another, there, is that it kind of holds up a mirror to society and goes, hey, maybe fix this shit. Now, back to the rest of your regularly scheduled programming. But I don't think that, I don't personally think Tiana Taylor was the best supporting actress. I think that that's who the Academy's going to pick, though. So I just watched Diane Warren Relentless, the last of the 2 documentaries that I have to watch for my categories. And I watched it for, again, a Best Original Song nominee, because she was nominated for the song Dear Me, which, honestly, I think it's a contender. I think it's a real contender, more so than some of the others that I've listened to so far. That said, I've got one left to watch. Still got Train Dreams, I believe, is the last one that I've got to watch to be able to figure out whether it's worth it too. But right now, for me, it's probably gonna be Dear Me, because that one's a good one, and yeah, she's. I don't want to say that she's due, because she's got one, even if it's not a competitive. But there's not a lot of great nominees in that category this year. So, my wife and I just finished watching K-pop Demon Hunters, and you were going to a movie you really wanted to not like, you kind of wanted to hate it, you wanted to, and then you don't. Yeah, so I ended up liking it. We both liked it. So it doesn't. I don't know that it's original fully in the animation. Like, the story absolutely is. It's different enough, but for the animation, which it's up for Best Animated Feature, it kind of combines like 3 things that I know, at least as far as I noticed, for the animation style. You got stuff kind of like Turning Red from Disney, or you've got classic anime style for some of the looks on the faces and things like that. And then you've got the Sony Pictures animation, kind of jittery frame rate animation style that they used for like Mitchell's versus the Machines and the Spider-Verse movies. So for originality, I don't know if it's going to be the best animated feature, but I guess we're going to have to see how it compares to the other nominees. As for the best original song, I know it's up for it. I do know it's up for best original song, but I fucking hate Golden. It's been so overplayed on the radio and everything like that. I hate Golden so much. It is a lot better in context. I'll give it that. It is much, much better in context. That said, I'm gonna have to do a rant at some point on like the directing of media consumption and everything like that. Because, like, just for an example, okay, so the movie should really be kind of an ensemble piece, yes? And yes, I know I'm off topic at the moment, but it should be an ensemble piece with all three of the girls and everything like that. But Rumi is clearly the lead. And then any younger kids, like any younger people that I have talked to that have seen this movie, Rumi. It's the favorite character is Rumi. It's not Zoe. It's not Mira. Seriously, ask any of the little kids that you know that have seen the movie who their favorite is. It's pretty much a solid bet it's going to be Rumi. But then on top of that, and this leads back into the point I'm trying to make. So all the marketing push is for Golden. All of the awards push is for Golden. I don't know that they even pushed for any of the other songs, but it's Golden. Golden's the one that everybody wants to talk about. But I don't think it's even the best the best song in that movie, let alone best original for the year. Obviously, we're going to have to see how the other original song nominees are. But as far as best original song, for me right now, this ain't it. Because what it sounds like is supposed to be, like, what it sounds like is a better song. Your Idol, I think, is a better song. I like Soda Pop better than I like Golden, but then that may just be because I hate Golden. Even Takedown, I like better than I like Golden. So, I mean, shoot me on that one. But we'll see. We'll see how it compares on original song to the other nominees. And we'll see how it compares for Best Animated Feature, although I will say it is a strong start for that category.
Hello, this is Nancerina13, Dead Media's wife. I'm also like his boss, his supervisor. I'm not any of those things. But regardless, I'm his helper. I'm helping him with this video. We watched K-Pop Demon Hunters, and I really wanted to hate it. I really wanted to be angry, and I wanted to be... If I watch a movie and I hate it, I get viscerally angry in about 5 minutes. Spend the whole time on my phone and just get grumpy. I downloaded the soundtrack, and I hate myself for it. Okay, bye. Mwah!
So I just watched Viva Verdi. It's a documentary about the Casa Verde in Milan, where elderly musicians go to live out the remainder of their life. It's kind of sad to know that some of them that are featured in the documentary passed away since before it was even released. I don't watch the documentaries. We know this. I mean, Nancerina's covering all of the documentaries in the that are actually up for specific documentary awards. But this one was up for Best Original Song, so I had to watch this one. I could have just listened to the song, but I had to. I feel like I have to watch it to get context. It's the only way I liked. It's the only way I was okay with Golden, because I've heard Golden so many times. But it's better with context in K-Pop Demon Hunters. Now, the song that this one's up for is called Sweet Dreams of Joy. And it is a nice song. It's a good song if you're into opera. But that's kind of the thing. Because not everybody is. And honestly, I feel like Best Original Song should be a little more accessible. As it is, this movie was a pain in the ass to get a hold of. It'd be really easy if I was an industry professional, but I'm not, so my options were to use a VPN to be able to gain access to a website where I could rent the movie for a minimum of $10 to watch for an hour and 18 minutes of documentary, or go sailing. And, I think you know what I chose.
This is who I think should and will win for Best Original Song. So, for me, the Best Original Song here. Now, this is what I've learned from. I did some research using the r/Oscars death race on Reddit. And from what I gather, Diane Warren is up for an award pretty much yearly, but almost never wins. The Oscars death race subreddit, there's a few of them that want whichever movie her song is in to be a mulligan movie. Because the entire point of the Oscars death race subreddit is that you watch every single nominee. And there are some, like, people point out that in most cases, the Diane Warren song is in the worst movie that's in the entire nominees list. So most people want to just skip it. Diane Warren, according to her own documentary, has one Oscar. But it wasn't for her work. It was for, like, a lifetime achievement. So it wasn't a specific award. It was for just having been in the awards a bunch. I think Dear Me is the best song this year, personally. Train Dreams was a weird song. Train Dreams was weird, but it's Nick Cave. That makes sense. I Lied to You from Sinners, to me, it wasn't that good. Sweet Dreams of Joy is operatic. It's not going to be accessible for most people. I think Dear Me is the best song personally. But I feel like the Academy's going to pick Golden. Golden is the most popular song on this list. Every top 40 station around here, at least, probably in a lot more places, plays it a couple of times a day, at least. I'm kind of picking Golden as what the Academy's going to choose for Best Original Song, even though personally Dear Me is the one that should.
This is Nancerina13. I just watched Come See Me in the Good Light. Very sad. Very honest look at death and dying and cancer, and yeah, it's very sad. Hi everybody, it's Nancy13 watching Cutting Through Rocks. I've got a few things to say. If you want something done right, get a woman to do it. Done right every time. Most women. I'm just speaking the truth here. And if some man, when I was going through my divorce, if some man had said to me, just deal with it, take it as it is. I think we take advantage of a lot of our freedoms we have here in Canada. This film takes place in Iran, in a very small village. And children are married off to grown men. And when one of them asks for a divorce, the judge is like, you didn't have a problem with it when you were 12. Just, yeah, you've gotten older, you've realized that you were groomed and you're a child and this is illegal and he's a pedophile, but you don't want to get a divorce. Your life will be worse. Just take it as it is. Get fucking wrecked, bro. Anyway, I'm halfway through, and yeah. You want something done right, get a woman every time. And if a man ever tells you you can't do something, tell him get wrecked, bro. Hi, I'm watching Mr. Nobody Against Russia, and I think there's a lot of parallels, in this year 2026 between Putin and Trump. I can see why they're besties, and it's scary to think that could happen in the U.S., This photographer for this school, they're being forced to make propaganda and send it into government websites to prove they're doing their jobs. Kids are being enlisted into the army, and if you say anything about the government, against the government, you will be either killed or imprisoned for life for treason. There's no freedom of speech. There's no it's just a straight dictatorship, and I know damn well Trump would love to do that, right? I think we need to take advantage of our freedoms and speak up and fight back, and look at somewhere like Russia, where a lot of Russians don't agree with Putin and Ukraine and taking the Ukraine and so many violent things. So yeah, keep that in mind. I want to add, I hope it wins because it's a shot to the dictatorship, but also the videographer, the man making this, is putting his life at risk. Yeah, bye. Hi, I'm just giving my review for, I'm not trying to flip you off, for the Alabama solution. It's going to come out really cruel, but it was kind of boring. I'm sorry. I found it kind of boring. But, of course, the jail system, it's hard for me because I'm like, these people have to face consequences. Like, it's not supposed to be a vacation. But they are human beings, and every human deserves basic human decency, you know? Which is, again, if I'm not saying people in this documentary are like, everybody's a serial killer, everybody's a rapist, everybody's a murderer. That's where I have a hard time. Because unless, like, but then again, in the States especially, you can get life in prison for, like, weed. So I don't think cell phones are a solution. I don't think that inmates should have access to social media. That could get messy. Dating apps, like, that kind of freaks me out. You know, and, like, but human decency. Like, there's got to be a solution, but it's got to start, like, okay, why are we, like, we always make jokes, we live in Canada, about a Canadian legal system. You could murder somebody and be out tomorrow. I think the States is more strict in some ways, which is great, but also, like, you've got a bag of weed and you're 60 years in prison. That's stupid. I think there needs to be some overall population because of stupid shit like that. People deserve to be treated with human decency. It was boring. I'm sorry. That's my take on it. Sorry, I feel like an ass saying that, but yeah. If it wins, it wins. I don't know. To me, it was just, I don't know. Wasn't for me, but yeah, people deserve basic human decency. Bye. This is my review. I actually watched Perfect Neighbor like months ago. Before I didn't even know it was nominated. I watched it because I'd heard about it, and it was one of the, like, it just makes you so viscerally angry. This woman killed her neighbor, shot her through a door, and then claimed, I was protecting my life. Bullshit. You're a racist piece of shit. This woman renting a house, not even living in a house. We own our house. Have I had trouble with my neighbors, like, their son hiding his girlfriends on my back step? Yes. Am I going to call the cops over that? No. I got on the camera and I was like, bro, what are you doing? And the kid jumped 40 feet in the air and never bothered me again. This woman in this video, this movie, rents like a townhouse. There's a space between her neighbor and her. She doesn't own that property. Like, she's a renter. None of that's your fucking business. Okay, the neighborhood kids like to play there. At least they're outside. This day and age, in 2026, 2025, when the movie came out, like, the murder happened a few years before that, but you should be happy the kids are outside. I love when the kids out in our neighborhood play and I hear them screaming and having fun. They're not on a fucking tablet. Like, when I was a kid, I remember playing hide and go seek in the dumpsters. Like, that's gross, but we did it. This woman is a terrible fucking human being. She literally shot a woman, a mother, through a door multiple times and had the nerve to cry self-defense. You made this a problem. She called the cops repeatedly. It was almost like a thing where she would threaten people. She pushed a kid. She would take their stuff. Like, there's this golden rule of life. And I don't know if it applies here, but don't tell people what bothers you. These are children. You're saying, oh, get off my property. And they know it's not your property. They're allowed to go there. And maybe some of them did try to amp her up a little bit. Well, too fucking bad. You don't get to kill a woman in front of her children because you don't like them playing outside. And in the end, she's crying over her cats. And I was so mad this woman owns cats. I was like, my first thought was like, how are you treating your animals if this is what you're acting like? And I know cats, human life, I get that, but that made me mad. As a cat mom, made me mad. But yeah, I think this should win, but only if they acknowledge the victim, her name, her children's names. That's the, if they don't, yeah, this is, you have to watch this. It will make you angry, you have to watch it. It's heartbreaking. Hi, I'm Nancerina13, and this is my pick for Best Documentary Feature for what I think should win and what I think will win. What I think should win is The Perfect Stranger. Because if you watched it on Netflix like I did when it was first, like, of all the nominees, this one was the most accessible for documentary feature. It was the most, I don't want to say relatable because they're all relatable in their own way, but it was the most upsetting and disconcerting. Can I tell you a little bit about it? So this woman, this white woman, living in a black neighborhood, decides that, she's renting, she owns a quarter chunk of land that the neighborhood kids like to play on, How horrible to play outside rather than being stuck on a fucking screen all day. But no. She gotta call the cops continuously, daily, threatening these kids, threatening their parents, crying wolf, claiming to be the victim. She's a professional victim. So she kills one of the neighbors, a woman with children, in front of her fucking children. I think that's what should win, if only in the sense that the victim is named and it's really put on blast how racist this woman was, that she shot a black woman through a closed door and claimed self-defense. Bull fucking shit. Now, who I think will win is Mr. Nobody Against Putin. Because it was, this is going to sound terrible, it was the least boring of all of my other ones. I'm not trying to be mean, I'm not trying to be a hater-ass bitch, but a lot of documentaries this year were very boring. I love documentaries. I was bored. Mr. Nobody Against Putin, especially with our current political climate in the US and in Canada, with the orange potato head, with the bad hair, and the scaly neck rash, because, it's really eye-opening into what dictatorship is, and what that means, and how much propaganda can be created and filmed, distributed, and brainwashed into children. Yeah, that's who I think will win. And you know what? I don't think that it shouldn't. I think there's a few of them that should win, but I think that message is very important, and I hope it does win, if that makes sense. Bye. This is me watching All the Empty Rooms on Netflix for Dead Media's Oscar video. It's very sad. I would hope that if it gets the Oscar, that maybe, nothing's ever going to change. 9-year-olds shouldn't be being unalived at school. 9 years old. And I know you hear it on the news all the time, and they even touch on that. It's a news broadcaster doing this story. He's been reporting on school shootings since 1997. It's very sad. Well done. Sad. But yeah. I don't think I'm qualified to say if it deserves an Oscar or not. It doesn't seem like in the same realm as, a lot of fiction and like Oscar, but not that it doesn't deserve it. It's just, it's just so real and sad. And it's not overdone, it's not dramatized, it's just, it is what it is. And I don't know if the Oscars would give it the respect it deserves, if that makes sense. It's a beautiful story. I think you should watch it. I think school shootings and the government and laws, and it's all so fucked up. It's all fucked up. We all know it's fucked up. If the Oscars went to it, I would like them to read the names of the victims on stage. Show the pictures of the victims. Yeah. I just wanted to say one more thing about All the Empty Rooms. I just finished it. And at the end they did, they made photographer and the news reporter guy made albums for each family, all the pictures they took of the room. And it's just I've lost people very close to me. I've never lost anybody to violence. And I can't imagine It's just heavy. That's the word I want to give the documentary. Heavy. So sorry for popping back in there, but yeah, I just wanted to add another 2 cents. Very heavy. Currently watching Armed Only with a Camera, and already there's a lot of graphic violence, war violence, and I mean, I think my only thoughts right now are war. What is it good for? Absolutely nothing. I commend the Brent. He's killed early on in the film, and his brother tries to carry on his legacy, continuing to film war and violence. I could definitely see this one winning. Oh, sorry, I have a wicked pillow behind me. I could definitely see this one winning. I think it's well done. It's disturbing, but again, war. Yeah. Hi, everybody. Nancerina here. I'm watching Children No More Were and Are Gone. It's about Palestine, Israel, and the Gaza crisis and the bombings. And I'm not educated enough to speak on any of that. I'm just not. I don't understand it. I'm ignorant. I'm sorry. I've tried to understand it. I don't know enough. But it's a very good documentary. Makes it very real, flesh. How many people, entire families, children are being killed in Gaza by bomb strikes daily. Yeah, just really sad. I think you should watch it. I think if it wins, it wins. I hope it wins for the right reasons and not just be like performative activism, if that makes sense. But yeah, I think you definitely need to, I recommend it. Children No More Were and Are Gone. Bye. Hi everybody, this is Nancerina13 doing my review for Perfectly Strangeness. It is nominated for Best Short for the Oscars. It would have been more enjoyable if I had taken an edible first. Do some gardening, you know what I mean? Then watch it. That was weird. But yeah, I would have been better with an edible. Bye. I just started watching The Devil is Busy, and I already love the woman. I didn't catch her name. I'm not good with that. But there's a head of security at an abortion clinic, and she slays. She's a slay of the game. That was not meant to be. No pun intended. I am pro-choice. Your body, your choice. This woman is a goddess. You show them to work hours early, make sure every room is safe, providing snacks for women and girls that are driving hours and hours and hours and hours to your clinic. Well, there's 2 white men outside protesting about murder. Man. As a penis, you don't have a right to a woman's body. Sorry, you your body, your choice. You want to go cut your nuts off and swirl them around in some jelly? I don't give a fuck. This woman is a hero. I already love her. Just started the movie. Documentary, I'll let you know when it finishes. But already, she's a hero. 10 out of 10. Yep. I'm gonna cry. This woman is an angel. An angel. My husband, Dead Media, I want you to put her picture right here. She's head of security at this feminist women's clinic. She's a hero. Yeah. You shouldn't have to drive from state to state. I'm not trying to smile. I want to cry. As somebody, I was in an abusive relationship once, and I'm open about that. If I had gotten pregnant with his child, I would have gotten an abortion. I don't know if I can have kids. I don't want children. I'm very happily married now. I love my cats. If I had gotten pregnant with my ex-husband's child, I would have had an abortion because that child would have been born to an unhappy marriage and I would not have been able to take care of it. And that is my choice. Every woman should have that choice. Every person. It's your body, your choice. Why are lawmakers making decisions about people's bodies? Are they going to take care of these children? It's just, these women in this documentary are heroes. Heroes. The ultrasound technician, also a beautiful woman, a hero in my eyes, said, when are we going to get past the A word in women's healthcare? There are so many things that need to be addressed, but the public, society, and politics are focused on abortion. One word. Nothing truer has ever been said. Sorry, I know I'm talking a lot. I love this movie. This needs to win an Oscar. It needs to, not just for performative activism, because this right here, what also a technician said? I had more rights 25 years ago than my daughter does today, 2026. 2025, when this was filmed, I'm assuming. That's fucked up. Come on. Anyway, 10 out of 10. Want it to win. Still watching it, but I have to stop talking because I'll go on forever. Love it, Heroes, 10 out of 10. Your body, your choice. Every day. Hi, I'm Nancy13, and this is my pick for who should win and who will win for Best Documentary Short. Who I think should win is The Devil is Busy. I could keep you busy for 3 hours talking about this documentary and the incredible women that put their lives at risk every day to continue to let women have freedom of choice. Your body, your choice. I'm sorry. I don't think anybody with a penis should ever have a ruling on a vagina in the never, ever, ever, ever. And honestly, I don't even think women should rule on women. Your body, your choice. The freedom of choice is so important in our world, in our mental health, in our safety. To force women to carry babies that could be resulted of rape, trauma, incest, no matter of their age, because some willy-nilly buckchuck in fucking politics thinks that that's what God would want. I'm not a religious person. I've never been a religious person. I ask far too many questions to be religious. I'm just not. Call it my tism. I'm like, but why? But why? Who decided this? But why? The woman who runs the clinic, she's head of security at the clinic in the documentary The Devil is Busy, comes in early every day, checks every single room because somebody could be hiding in there. She said her security is consistently inconsistent. There's no funding. There's no backup. She said, and she even explained, the best part of it to me was that she explained she had an abortion when she was 19 and she grew to regret it. And that's awful, but that's her story. And she has the wherewithal to say, that's my story. I have no say in this person. I don't know this person. I don't judge this person. That woman is a hero. That's who I think should win. She won't because, censorship.
Hey everybody, Editing Media here. So, I just wanted to step in here. I'm not trying to step on her toes in any way, but it's not just censorship that is the reason that The Devil is Busy won't win the award. The Academy likes to do their hot button topics. If it's currently news and everything, they want to be involved so that they can look like they actually have their finger on the pulse. But they don't. So they just want to look like it. But then that's not the issue. The issue is that the topic behind The Devil is Busy, it's not just hot. It's nuclear. That they wouldn't touch it with a 39.5-foot pole.
Anyway, who will win is going to be Children No More Were and Are Gone. Children No More Were and Are Gone was very sad. It was very... Children dying in war is never going to be a thing you can just gloss over. You can never explain it away. You can never be like, well, no. Children should not be casualties of war. The people in this documentary are living in Israel, protesting Israel bombing Gaza. And there's many Israelites condemning these people for silent, peaceful protests, holding photos of kids that were killed in the bombings in Gaza. And Children No More Were and Are Gone is what the title says. Each picture, the child was 13, is no more. That's who I think will win. I hope that if it wins for the right reasons, not just for performative activism. I have said it myself a million times. I don't know enough about Israel and Gaza to have, I can't speak on any of it because I don't know enough. I'm ignorant. I'm sorry. I don't understand, and I'm not qualified to speak on any of it. But I think as humans, anybody should look at a picture of a 10-year-old that was killed in a bombing and feel something. Yeah, that's my take. Bye.
I just watched Surat, which is up for Best Sound and Best International Feature. It's a good one for international feature. Not sure if it's going to be the best. I say this a lot. I know that, but it's a good one. Sound, I mean, the bulk of the story really revolves around desert raves. So, music. Sound is kind of important to this movie. And it's functional, it works, it's good. So, but when you go into this one, you might expect it to. You're gonna expect it to go one way, because you start out with dad and his son looking for the missing daughter at a couple of rave events in the desert because she's been missing for 5 months. And they join some of the ravers on their way to another location for another event. But where the story goes from there, you're not gonna expect it. You're really not. Just watched The Secret Agent. It's up for 4 awards. It's up for Best Picture, Best Actor, Best Casting, and Best International Film. So, as far as Best Picture, you know the drill. I gotta compare it to the others yet and figure out which is the actual best film according to what they've got picked here. As far as Best Actor, Wagner Moura did fine, but honestly, the movie's kind of dull. Like, long and dull. Quite often I was just completely not paying any attention. I'd be jarred back to paying attention by the sound of gunshots. As far as casting, it's fine. Everybody seems to play the role they're given. In Best International Film, I don't think it's going to be that one. I really don't. So, yeah, overall, to me, it wasn't great. I was hesitant. I figured it was going to be, I was worried it was going to kind of not be great. But then at the same point, sort of optimistic, because there's a lot of love for this movie this year. But, I guess the hesitance was right, because I honestly kind of found that one really dull. I just watched The Voice of Hind Rajab. That one's a hard watch. It's one of the international feature nominees. If you don't know about that situation, look it up. I don't know what any of the rest of the international features are going to be like, but that one was hard.
This is who I think should and will win for Best International Feature Film. And in this case, this is another one where I really don't see the Academy picking different from me. For me, the international films were largely good to me. The Secret Agent kind of bored me a little. It kind of didn't really hold my attention. But the rest all actually held my attention, which is pretty good because I don't really watch a lot of international films. But there's one movie out of the 5 that stuck with me. The Voice of Hind Rajab. The Voice of Hind Rajab is upsetting. The Voice of Hind Rajab is well performed. If you don't know, this is another one this was another one about the Gaza bombings. This is a movie where they're on the phone with a young girl who's trapped in a car with the corpses of her family while while it's being shot at, while the bombings are going on. This is a 10-year-old girl trapped in a car with corpses. And for the activist side of it, I think the Academy's going to agree on this one. But I just, the voice of Hinderjob is the best international feature film this year. There is no two ways about it.
So I just watched Arco, the last one for my animated features category, and it's been a pain in the ass to get. It actually just came available today, but it's a really good one. Was worth the wait, guys. The animation style's kind of like, it's similar to an anime, more like a Studio Ghibli type anime, but it's not quite. It's a little unique from that, but it's different. The animation is kind of different, but kind of the same. The story, though, is what sells it, and it's a good one. It's about its childhood. It's keeping Whimsy alive and everything like that. It's a time travel movie with consequences. It's also a bit of a bootstrap paradox, but that's neither here nor there. Most time travel ends up going that route. But yeah, overall, no, this one was a really good one. I'm glad I got a chance to see it. Hey, so I just rewatched Elio because I had watched it once in my own free time just because it was something that I actually wanted to see. Even though, it was delayed multiple times on Disney's part, received basically nothing for a marketing push, and then they still want to they still want to push it to be able to possibly win Best Animated Feature at the Oscars. It isn't. Honestly, I don't think Disney's got it this year. They, like I said before, this is usually Disney's category to lose, but I don't think this is it, guys. I don't think they've got it this year. I do like Elio. I think it's a good movie. I think it was failed in the marketing department, and most people didn't see it, so it didn't hit the box office. But that might also be part of why it's up for the awards, which doesn't explain Zootopia 2. But I think it's a good one. I think it's got a good message about being who you are, embracing it. Definitely a message that's coming up a fair bit lately, actually, in the awards this year. So, yeah, for animated features, I don't think it's the top. I don't have many left for animated feature to watch. I don't think. But yeah, we'll find out. We'll see who the best one is, and or who I think is best, and who I think they're gonna pick. Hey, so I just watched Little Amelie, or the character of Rain, which is, well, it's animated very nice. I mean, as you can see. So it's kind of like a Japanese watercolor thing, or some kind of watercolor anyway, which makes me wonder if there's. It's weird that a lot of the animated stuff is painted this year, because we had 2 shorts that were painted. This one's a feature that's painted. Anyways, this one's got it's a good story. It's about it's a young girl. She's learning to deal with loss, change. She's learning about memory and it's all innocence and stuff like that. It's culture. There's plenty to this story, and it is good, but really, it's. Did you ever see Boyhood? It's like a shorter version like, I mean, time-wise, but also for the amount of time covered. It's like kind of like a shorter version of Boyhood, but animated and in Japan and starring a Belgian girl that, come to think of it, this has very little to do with Boyhood.
Come to think of it, most people like a good laugh more than I do, but that's beside the point.
But I'm hoping you get the point that I'm making. It's also the second movie I've seen with the name Amelie in the title, and honestly, I prefer the other one. But back on track here. This one's up for Best Animated Feature, and I don't know. I'm not thinking it's it. I've still got a couple animated features yet to watch, but I'm not thinking this is it.
Hi, this is Dead Media's category, but I have 2 cents to put in. As someone who doesn't like animated movies, K-pop Demon Hunters was 100 times better than this. Kept my attention, loved the music. Slay away. Here's Dead Media. Sorry, I stole the microphone. Bye!
Hey, so I just watched Zootopia 2. I mean, it's good. It's good. It's a worthy follow-up to the first one. And, you get some interesting new characters, including Ki Hai Kwan as this guy here, Gary. That one. The snake. You've got Andy Samberg as a lynx. It's a good follow-up, but it's 10 years after the first one, I think, something like that. It doesn't really look that much better for what it is. The animation it's not changing anything. So for Best Animated Feature, I don't think so. It's generally the animated feature category. That's Disney's category to lose. It is. Let's just face it, Disney's always got at least one in. Right now they've got 2. They've got this one and they've got Elio. I've seen Elio, but I'm going to rewatch it for the video here. I like Elio. But right now, of the 3 I've seen, but only 2 that I'm counting as having seen, right now it'd be K-pop for the winner, because it's not... Zootopia shouldn't have even won in the first place. Like, it shouldn't have won. It was not the best animated feature that year. It wasn't. So, I don't think we need to follow up with another situation where that same franchise is not the best animated feature of the year. Just, personally, I don't think it's this one.
Here's my choice for who should and will win for Best Animated Feature. And this one's another one where I don't see the Academy choosing different from me. Elio, personally to me, was the better of the Disney choices on the animated feature list this year. I think it was drastically under-advertised, partly because it was delayed for years. But I don't think Zootopia 2 is where it should have been. I think Little Amelie was a wonderful movie, but I don't know that it's the best animated feature. It definitely was different. K-pop Demon Hunters was lots of fun. I don't think it's best animated feature. Which leaves me with Arco. I believe Arco has to win this category. I think it should, and I honestly think it will. Because, first of all, it's more like a traditional animation. It kind of got the Ghibli style. It's wonderful. It's a good story. It's well told. It looks good. All of that. But then on top of that, it also has the environmental message, which means that therefore the Academy can get their little bit of activism in on this one. I think that's going to make some kind of a dent in their decision, but I also don't think that the other options are where they needed to be. I think it has to be Arco.
Just watched F1. It was up for 4 of them, for Best Picture, Best Editing, Best Sound, and Best Visual Effects. As far as Best Picture, I still have half of that field to go through. so I can't speak to whether it is yet. It's good. It's kind of it's an underdog story. It's like a really big Rocky versus, like, it's like Rocky if Rocky was a team instead of one guy. As far as editing goes, there were a couple of really well edited shots, but overall, I think I said in a previous one, good editing you don't notice, right? Best sound, I mean, everything was balanced. Everything, you could hear everything. There was never anything particularly quiet or overly loud. The sound was fine. And as for visual effects, there were a couple of points where the effects were really, really good. But overall, I mean, what visual effects are there? First, I thought that maybe they digitally de-aged Brad Pitt near the beginning, but no, because I thought it was going to be like a prequel moment. But no, they didn't de-age him. They just had Brad Pitt out there driving F1 cars and Daytona and all that. So, for visual effects, I don't know, it was okay, but there wasn't that much for it. So, we'll see how it fares against everything else.
This is who I think should and will win for Best Film Editing. I think Sinners, I think Michael P. Shaver, I think, should win for Best Film Editing for Sinners. There's a oneer in there, for one, which always impressive when you can manage to get a successful one-shot take that goes, like, we followed a character from one building across the street to another building, and then followed a different character back across the street to the first building. And it was an unbroken take. That's, like, I mean, granted, that's partly cinematography, but it's also editing. If it isn't an unbroken take, then it's been edited well, because it looks like one. Let's be honest. You've got many scenes where you've got Michael B. Jordan spending time with Michael B. Jordan. They're right side by side. They're passing things between each other, and it looks seamless. There are two Michael B. Jordans in that movie, according to the film editing. That's how it comes across. And I think that deserves some attention. I grant it's an old effect. It's something that plenty of people have done. But it doesn't always look good. Here it does. That said, I think One Battle After Another will win the Best Film Editing. I'm not going to say it wasn't well edited, but again, I think this one's more going to come down to what it says. Because, it does say something important. I don't necessarily personally think it's the best edited. I don't think it's badly edited. For me, it's not the best, but I'm pretty sure that's what the Academy's going to pick. These are my choices for who I think should and will win for Best Casting. This is the new category this year, so this one's kind of tougher to pick. I don't really exactly know, but at the same point, to me, I think the best way to know is, can you see anybody else playing the roles? So, for me, I think the one who should win on this one is Nina Gold for Hamnet. I think all of the characters were well cast in this. I think, as much as I found the movie a little on the dull side, at the same point, I think everybody was well cast. I think everybody did well with the roles they were cast into. I think it was great for that. So I think Nina Gold should win for Hamnet. That said, I think Francine Maisler will win for Sinners. Because she had she did make very good casting decisions, and like every single part of that was well cast, every performance was well done, everybody was who they should be. Michael B. Jordan actually is like, I understand playing twins having the same actor, but it would be so easy for that actor to fall into just doing the same performance twice. And Michael B. Jordan was two separate people. I think so. The casting, I think the Academy will pick Sinners, but I think the winner should be Hamnet. These are who I think should and will win for Best Production Design. I think the one that should is Marty Supreme. Everything about that, everything about that production design is time appropriate, except for a handful of things, but that's really more performance and script based. There's music that's not appropriate to the time. At one point, there's a couple of characters doing that whole I don't remember what the trend was called, but where you get out of the car and dance alongside it while it moves.
It's Drake trend from like 2020.
Yeah, it had a different name though. I think it was because of the name of the song.
Yeah, anyway.
But they did that, and that's not really, like, that doesn't make sense for the 1950s. Otherwise, the production design on that movie, I don't think that counts. So the production design, though, I thought the production design was good for Marty Supreme. That said, I think the Academy's going to pick Sinners. Sinners is one of the more awarded movies, or more nominated movies, I've ever seen in the Oscars. It's up for 16. There are 24 categories in the Oscars, and it's only eligible for 18 of them. But it's up for 16 of those 18. And as far as the awards I've gone through here, the Academy hasn't given Sinners that many yet. So I feel like they're going to pick Sinners, which, again, don't get me wrong. The production design on Sinners is good. I just think Marty Supreme's is better. This is who I think should and will win for Best Sound. For me, the one that should win for Best Sound is Surat. This is a movie that, at least partly, is about rave culture. It's about music. You're telling me that's and it does it well. You're telling me that's not what's gonna win for Best Sound? It is the right choice. But I'm not gonna fault the Academy when and if I'm right here, and if they choose Sinners. Because I think Sinners will be the Academy choice for Best Sound. It's the most likely. Sinners' sound is good. For me, Surat is better, but I think the Academy's going to pick Sinners. Just a shame, because, Surat's up for 2 awards, and if I'm right, it's not going to get any.
Alright, just watched Jurassic World Rebirth. It's up for Best Visual Effects. But, it's a Jurassic Park movie. It's the 7th Jurassic Park movie. For the most part, the effects haven't changed since 93. But, let's be charitable here. In 1993, they were still using some animatronics, some practical effects. So, let's be charitable and say it has been since Jurassic World in 2015. It's 10 years the same, guys. This is just... It's up for the award as a token, and that's it. I don't know if it's going to win, really for that same reason as Avatar, Fire and Ash. Both are up for that award, and I think it's just up to fill the category, because Well, we got Sinners, The Lost Bus, and F1 in that category as well. So, we'll see. I just watched The Lost Bus. It's up for Best Visual Effects. And so the first half hour had me convinced for sure that it did not even belong on this list. Because any effect shots that happened in that first hour were pure garbage. Like, I'd expect them from video game cutscenes 5-6 years ago, not from a multi-million-dollar Apple TV movie starring Matthew McConaughey and America Ferrera, and directed by Paul Greengrass. But later on, the fire effects and everything, they were good. Like, there was scenes where they were in hell. That's what it was. They were in hell. And I gotta give it to them for those effects. I gotta say that those effects were quite good. I've still got one more to watch in this category, so I'm not ready to make my decision yet. But, the effects were good for the most part here.
This is who I think should and will win for Best Visual Effects. For me, the Best Visual Effects should go to The Lost Bus. At the start of The Lost Bus, the effects kind of aren't great, but when there's moment towards the end before they actually manage to fully escape the fire, they might as well be in literal hell, because that's what it looks like. The fire all around them, the sky is red, the smoke, all of it. The effects work here is brilliant. I am not, however, going to fault the Academy when they pick Sinners for Best Effects. The Best Visual Effects, yeah, Sinners is good. Sinners is really good. Two other ones on here, Avatar Fire and Ash and Jurassic World Rebirth. These are this is the only award Jurassic World Rebirth is up for, but as far as Jurassic World movies go, it's kind of weak. This is the one of two awards that Avatar Fire and Ash is up for, but it's the same effects they've been doing since 2009. So, what's new or different in either of these cases? F1 did do a good job with their effects. But for me, the winner should be The Lost Bus, and the winner will more likely be Sinners. This is who I think should and will win for Best Cinematography. I think One Battle After Another should be the cinematography winner. There were too many shots in there that were just so well done, particularly in the one chase scene near the end where they had to have had the camera mounted on the front of the car to be able to get some of the road scenes that they have. And you could just, you're watching the road as it goes up and down the hills, and it looks so good, so cool. I even commented on it to Nancerina when we were watching the movie. And honestly, I don't see another option. I don't think that the Academy is going to pick anything else. I'll grant plenty of the others had really great shots. Some of them were so well framed. Some of them were just so they were different. Like Train Dreams had a shot where the camera has to have been mounted on a tree. This is early in the movie. Has to have been mounted on a tree as it's being felled. And it's a good shot. I just think that the shots in One Battle After Another were better. And I don't think that the Academy is going to disagree. Here are my choices for who should and who will win for Best Actor. For me, the best actor here was Ethan Hawke in Blue Moon. He disappeared. There was no Ethan Hawke in that movie. to me, he came off more like a young John Malkovich than he did Ethan Hawke. But at the same point, he's playing a man 6 inches shorter than he is, playing a man who doesn't sound anything at all like he does, or look anything at all like he does. And granted, some of that's makeup, but his performance here is great too. He's just like, he's Ethan Hawke, first of all. He's a good actor to begin with. But I don't know, there's been a few things lately he's kind of phoned in. This one, he was legitimately great in Blue Moon. I think he deserves it for this one. But the Academy loves Timothy Chalamet. I'm pretty sure he's going to be their pick for Best Actor for Marty Supreme. Marty Supreme was an okay movie, but I hated his character. And that doesn't seem to matter, because remember, De Niro won for Raging Bull. And I fucking hated De Niro in Raging Bull. Okay, now here is my picks for who will and who should win for Best Director. So, I think that Best Director on this one should go to Paul Thomas Anderson for One Battle After Another. That was a really well done movie, and I think it was well directed. And also, I like Paul Thomas Anderson at least half the time. I think at this point, this being the third movie of his I've seen, this is, I like him 67% of the time. But who will win for this one? Again, I think it's going to be Sinners. I think the Academy's going to choose Sinners for this one for Ryan Coogler. Coogler is also a brilliant director and absolutely deserves it. I just think that Anderson was the better choice for who actually should win. That said, I won't be disappointed if the Academy picks Sinners.
Hey, so I just watched If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You, and the movie's kind of unsettling. It's a good depiction of mental health, but, it could be triggering for some, I'd imagine. But I watched it for Rose Byrne is up for the Best Actress category, and she did great in it. She did really well as a woman that's kind of just at the end of her rope. She's alone dealing with a child that's got medical issues, and she's not handling it well. And she did great in it. So, definitely a contender. I just watched Song Sung Blue. Absolutely, it's a tragic love story. Years are definitely compressed because it's supposed to be between 1989 and 2006, and I'm not entirely sure any of the kids aged. So there's that. But it's not what we're here for. This one was up for Best Actress for Kate Hudson. And, near the start of the movie, I would have figured, she's doing all right. But she's just kind of blending in. But then first tragedy of the movie strikes, and she played the role so well. She did a really good job in this one. This was actually a really, really good movie. I like this one.
These are my choices for who should and who will win for Best Actress. So I think the Best Actress winner should be Jessie Buckley for Hamnet. I think she was incredible in it. I really do. I think her performance was great. Don't get me wrong, Rose Byrne was awesome in If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You. Kate Hudson was great in Song Sung Blue. Renate Reinsve was also great in Sentimental Value. Emma Stone was great in Begonia. But Jessie Buckley was incredible. She's newer, at least as far as my knowledge goes. I haven't seen her in much, but I think she was great here, and she should get the attention. And honestly, again, I don't see this going another way. I don't see the Academy picking somebody else. It's got to be Jessie Buckley. She's the only option here, really. I'll grant the others are good. They really were. All of them were good. This one was a hard category to pick. But it's Jessie Buckley. It has to be. So, these are my choices for Best Picture, for who will and who should win. As far as I'm concerned, for who should win for Best Picture, it's Sinners. None of the rest are really that... Honestly, we had kind of a shit selection of Best Picture nominees this year. There were movies in there that I liked better than Sinners, but legitimately out of the options, it's the best one. Now, who do I think will win? Actually, honestly, I don't see the Academy straying from my decision here, because, again, there really isn't that good a selection this year. I'm not sure why. I'm pretty sure I saw better shit in theaters this year. And I didn't go to the theater that often. But, yeah, no, for the selections that they've got on here, I don't see it being anything other than Sinners for either me or for the Academy. So what did we learn? Well, nothing. Were we supposed to? Who wrote this fucking thing?
Who wrote this?
Anyway, personally, I didn't find the bulk of this year's nominees to be particularly exciting. Some were even downright boring. A few of my categories were hard to pick because there just didn't seem to be a great choice in the lot. But to be fair, there were a few cases where there were too many good choices, and some where I just couldn't see the Academy picking any different from my own. However, let's make this interesting. After the Oscars air tonight, we'll all know whether Nancy and I were right. So, what if I do a short video in a few days and score us on our picks? I'll figure out how the points will work by then.
That's right, the points don't matter at all, just like Blair Witch 2.
And let you know at the start of that video. So, enjoy the Oscars if you watch. Or, if you're like the rest of us, enjoy your evening and idly check the results after. We don't judge. But, guess we'll see you in a couple of days. Bye.
Alright, so we are now 2 days post-Oscars, and we know the results of the awards.
Boo, Timothy Chalamet! Boo, Timothy Chalamet!
And I figured, as I said at the end, what was going to be the end of the video before, it didn't get up in time, was that I'd tell you the way the points are going to work now. So I figure for the situation where we choose, where our pick for the best, what we figured should win, does win, we get 2 points. For a situation where what we figured the Academy would pick wins, we get 3 points. And in those situations where I figured that both myself and the Academy would pick the same thing, and I'm right, I get bonus point. So, basically 6 possible points per category. So let's get into it. Let's start just as it's written on my pages here. So for Best Picture, I had said that Sinners should be the winner. And I figured that that would also be the Academy's choice. But the winner was One Battle After Another. So, I didn't get anything there. For the next one, Best Director, I figured that I said One Battle After Another should win for Best Director. And I figured that the Academy would pick Sinners. But it turns out that the Best Director was chosen to be Paul Thomas Anderson for One Battle After Another, which is 2 points. Next, we've got Best Adapted Screenplay. I said that Begonia should win. And I figured that the Academy was going to pick One Battle After Another. One Battle After Another was the one that won the award, so I get 3 points. For Best Original Screenplay, I said that it should be Blue Moon. But I guessed that the Academy was going to go with It Was Just an Accident. but they chose Sinners. For Best Actor, this one I feel kind of dumb on. For Best Actor, I said that it should be Ethan Hawke. I said that the Academy would likely choose Timothée Chalamet. But I didn't think about the fact... I kept talking about how Michael B. Jordan was playing two characters, and that was great for editing and all that. I didn't think... I should have been figuring that he'd win the award for Best Actor, which he fucking did.
Michael B. Jordan is very... Anything I've seen him in, he's very talented, and he disappears into the role a little bit. And I think that's a gift in itself as an actor, and I think he did that in Stack and Smoke in Sinners. So.
Only situation where I could really disagree with that is Fant Four Stick.
That doesn't count. That was before his rebirth. There's like a time before the good, and he's hot now. He's winning.
For Best Supporting Actor, I said that myself and the Academy... I picked Sean Penn for One Battle After Another.
He was amazing in that.
And I figured that the Academy was going to agree that they were going to pick One Battle After Another with Sean Penn as well. I was fucking right. It kind of makes up for missing out on the Best Actor one, because I was right. 6 points for me. Then, on Best Actress, once again, I figured the only option here for either me or the Academy was Jessie Buckley in Hamnet. It was the only thing that I figured, the only option I figured could be the winner. And again, I was right. 6 points to me. For Best Supporting Actress, I figured the winner should be Inga Ivsdottir Lilios. But I figured the Academy might pick Tiana Taylor for One Battle After Another. I was wrong. They chose Amy Madigan for Weapons. Only award that the movie was up for, and it won it.
I didn't see any of those with you.
No.
That or Blue Moon, no. I don't know what those are.
Weapons was a horror one.
I'm good.
For Best Animated Feature, I was certain, beyond a shadow of a doubt, that it was going to be Arco. That, I figured that it was the best option. I figured the Academy was going to pick it. But no, it went to K-Pop Demon Hunters.
Slay. Even my mom was like, K-Pop Demon Hunters won. That's like, slay.
For Best Casting, I figured that award should go to Hamnet. I figured the Academy would pick Sinners, and I wouldn't have been disappointed in that case. They did give it to One Battle After Another, which I'll grant I can't see anybody else playing any of those roles.
No, but Leo's, yeah.
At the same point, I don't know that one was the right choice there. For Best Cinematography, I figured for One Battle After Another. I figured it was the absolute best option on that list. I figured that the cinematography was brilliant. I even figured that the Academy was going to agree with me. But it turns out, no. They went with Sinners. Maybe because of that oneer that I mentioned, which again I figured was editing or something like that. But, yeah. They gave the best cinematography to Sinners. I'm not necessarily disappointed, but I was wrong. For Best Costume Design, I figured the only real option was Hamnet. The Academy disagreed and chose Frankenstein.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I can't disagree with it, but at the same point, I don't know.
You can't even see Jacob Elordi in there, and Jacob Elordi.
But that's more makeup.
It was costume.
Baby.
There was costume involved.
Okay.
That 6'5", beautiful, gorgeous man disappeared. He's still gorgeous. I have issues, but
For Best Documentary Feature, you said that the winner should be Mr. Nobody Against Putin. It's
very appropriate for our current political climate.
But you figured that the Academy was going to pick The Perfect Neighbor. I think because of accessibility is what you said?
So we were talking about this a minute ago, and I was saying, I don't know why. I don't know why I chose that, because thinking of it now, it's Netflix documentary, which I don't know if that cheapens it, if it's the best word to use. Probably not. It is more accessible. but I don't know what I was thinking. I mean, the message is strong. It's a wonderful documentary. I'm not saying anything about that, but Netflix pushes them out like.
They also Netflix has gotten in some trouble regarding, like, the Academy got in trouble at the same time. A few years ago, they did the whole The Irishman thing, and Netflix was basically bribing officials to try and get The Irishman some awards.
That doesn't surprise me. I mean, okay, I'll just say this. Miss Americana was on Netflix. It was a Netflix exclusive television documentary. The very next year, in one of their programs, they made a sexist joke about her. That's all I'll say about that.
Anyways, you figured that that Mr. Nobody should win and that The Perfect Neighbor would win. You get 2 points because Mr. Nobody did win.
Haha.
Now, on to the documentary short. You figured The Devil is Busy should win.
I 100% think it should have. I knew.
We both knew it wasn't going to.
I wish it was more accessible. I wish it was on Netflix. I wish it was trending.
It was on HBO Max.
I know, but that's not the same thing.
Yeah.
Netflix is one of those things just like...
Everybody has Netflix.
Yeah, even though it's ridiculously expensive. Mostly everybody has Netflix now.
But you figured that the Academy was going to pick Children No More. I think we both knew that The Devil is Busy was too hot a topic for the Academy to touch.
Yeah.
But we figured they were going to lean into the whole Israel-Palestine thing. Turned out that they felt that one was about as nuclear of a topic.
I mean, Trump did just start a war with Iran, so you know.
Yeah. Anyways, with them seeing that as way too hot a topic yet, they chose All the Empty Rooms for Best Documentary Short. I don't think you're disappointed by that.
I'm not disappointed by that at all, especially like with what happened in Tumberla Ridge. Like, we live in Canada. I've been following Maya's story on Facebook for her mom and her dad. She was shot in the head and the neck at Tumberla Ridge in BC about a month and a half ago. These things don't happen in Canada. I guess they do, but it's happened so much in the States, it's become... The news doesn't even report it if the death toll is less than, like, 15. So I think it's a very important look at the behind the scenes and the aftermath of a school shooting and the people that are left behind and the parents that are left behind. And I think it's a very important documentary. I'm glad it won.
Now, on to film editing. I figured that the winner for film editing should be Sinners. Again, for the aforementioned Smoke and Stack bit. But I also figured that more likely the Academy was going to pick One Battle After Another. It turned out I was actually right on that one. The Academy did pick One Battle After Another, and I get me 3 points.
Yeah, well, so but editing fall into that scene on the highway.
I still figure that falls more under cinematography too, but
yeah,
there would be a certain level of editing with
yeah, because that was pretty cool.
Yeah. For Best International Film, I figured the only option was Hind Rajab. Again, that one stuck with me.
It really stuck with you. It really did.
But, like, there's that really nuclear hot topic again. And instead, for Best International Feature, the Academy chose Sentimental Value. I'm not disappointed by that. Sentimental Value was a good movie. I just think Hind Rajab was better and probably should have won the award if the topic wasn't so,
Hot topic? Yeah. Controversial. I don't even
controversial, I think is more what you're thinking.
Yeah.
For makeup and hairstyling, I figured the winner should be Ugly Stepsister because that was just fucking horrifying. But I figured I wouldn't be disappointed if they'd chosen Sinners for it. They did, however, choose Frankenstein, which for me stood out far less for makeup and hairstyling than Ugly Stepsister or Smashing Machine. On to Best Original Score, I really figured the only option here was Sinners. And I was right again. So, 6 points to me.
I lied to you.
For Best Original Song, speaking of, that was one of the options. It didn't win.
Golden one.
Best Original Song, I figured it had to be Dear Me. But I figured Golden would be the actual winner. I was right on that one. And I get 3 points, and I'm disappointed.
I'm not. I'm glad it won. I like that song.
For Best Production Design, I figured Marty Supreme was a good bet, and I figured that the Academy would probably pick Sinners. They did pick Frankenstein, though. As for Best Animated Short, I figured that it should be The Girl Who Cried Pearls. But I figured the Academy would pick Butterfly. Maybe they figured that one was a little bit too awards baity or something, though, because they did pick The Girl Who Cried Pearls, and I get 2 points.
How many points do I have?
2.
Oh.
You only had 2 categories, baby.
Oh, well, still. I'm winning.
For Best Live Action Short, it was a toss-up for me. It was a tough one between The Singers and Jane Austen's period drama. But I figured the Academy was going to choose Butcher's Stain. Again, not thinking that maybe that topic was a little too much. Mm. I really was a little surprised that they made 2 picks for Best Live Action Short, though, with The Singers and Two People Exchanging Saliva. Two People Exchanging Saliva was also a good movie.
Did we watch that together?
We did not.
Oh.
I'll have to show you that one at some point. It's actually pretty good. But I'm glad The Singers won, because it deserved it. It was the best option.
Yeah.
And I get 2 points. For Best Sound, I figured that it would be Surratt, but the Academy might pick Sinners. I was wrong on both of those, though, and they picked F1.
I didn't get to see the end of F1. I got really sick, but I liked what I saw.
Yeah. Best Visual Effects, I figured that the winner should be The Lost Bus.
Yeah.
But I figured that the Academy is probably going to pick Sinners. I would have been fine with that. I don't think that Avatar Fire and Ash was the right choice for that. I mean, the effects are good and everything,
but it's Avatar. It's nothing new.
It's the same shit as 2009.
Every time a new one comes out, you have to watch the other 2, and honest to God, they're boring. This one...
If James Cameron makes Avatar 4, you realize we're going to have to watch 9 hours worth of film to make sure we're caught up, because it's going to be 12 years. I don't even know who anybody is
at the end. I'm like, I don't know who...
It's going to be like 12 years before we get the next one anyway.
Our niece, though, has on her iPad, she has different photos from Avatar of all the boys, so I'll tell you who that is later, but yeah, one of our nieces.
And that's it for the categories, though. That's where we are... I got 10 categories, or I think we got 10 categories right out of 24. Not a great average, but probably better than we really should have scored.
The thing with The Singers I wanted to say to you, the reason I wanted it to win is because those men, when you are watching The Singers, those men have been in that bar all night. Those men go to that bar every night. To make it feel so genuine in, how long was that movie? 20 minutes?
15 minutes.
50,
something like that.
How? How? It's just... These men have been in that bar all night, and it was such a homey feel, and it just was like, I don't know how they captured that. Was amazing. I'm really glad it won.
But
I cried at the end.
Anyways, I did too.
Yeah.
As far as the awards go, that's it for us. I've got another couple of big projects planned this year, but with some potential changes in our lives here, we'll see how that goes. So, with any luck, I'll see you guys in a couple of months.
Bye.
Bye.
This concludes our broadcast day. Click.